Here is Ware. And Ware is here in East Hertfordshire because of the River Lee. A town proud of its history. But it doesn't cling blindly to its past, though its ancient buildings are now jealously preserved. If you wish, you may stroll lazily through the grounds of the ancient Franciscan priory, following the steps of the friars of old. But the historic buildings are complemented by many fine examples of more recent architecture. The town is within easy reach of London by road, by rail, and if you have the time, even by its river. Yet, despite its closeness to London, Ware has not been swallowed up by the urban sprawl. Green fields and trees surround it, preserving its rural nature. Yet, if you have business abroad or a holiday to take, it's only half an hour by road to London Stansted. If you're visiting, you may choose from a number of hotels in the area. All tastes and pockets are catered for, from the easily affordable to the luxury of Hanbury Manor, a converted country mansion. At this point in the river, the Romans found a place to cross with their great road to the north, Ermine Street. For centuries, people paused at this point on their travels, and goods from a wide area were brought to be shipped downstream to London. And now, by its banks, new homes have been built. Residents and visitors find peace and recreation. Here too we find its biggest employer, Glaxo Wellcome. Allen and Hanbury's, the long-established manufacturing chemists, came here in 1897 to open their new factory. Allenbury's, always a research-minded company, merged with Glaxo in 1958. Many important medicines have been developed at the Ware site, and these have played a major part in making Glaxo Wellcome the world's biggest drug company. Ware is also home to Wood Brothers, whose craftsman-built quality furniture, renowned internationally, echoes much of the town's character. Respect for the past, allied to all that is best in modern methods. Epitomizing this is the great bed of Ware, mentioned by William Shakespeare in Twelfth Night. The original, of course, is in the Victoria and Albert Museum. In Tudor times, the bed was probably used to advertise one of the inns that then lined the south side of the High Street. Ware once boasted more than 100 pubs. There's still no shortage of hostelries here, about 24 scattered throughout the town, both old and new, each with its own individual charm. Many serve good food, but if your wish is for a restaurant, then you will be spoilt for choice. One of the country's finest garden centres, Van Haig's, is situated at the southern edge of the town. It provides everything for the garden, the gardener, and relaxation for all the family. There has been a church on the site of St. Mary's for at least 1,000 years, but most of what we see today dates from about 1380. Among its many treasures are the finely carved medieval font and the early Victorian stained glass. But of course, Ware has many other places of worship. Each summer during Ware Week, the town shows itself to itself and anyone else who cares to visit. Starting with a colourful carnival which winds its way through the streets until it reaches the Priory grounds, where everyone assembles to enjoy the afternoon's fete. Where town organisations have an opportunity to raise funds. Festivities continue throughout the week, covering sport, music, horticulture, a duck race, pavement artists competition, dancing, quizzes, and finally a ball at Fanham's Hall. The Hall, now Sainsbury's Training Centre, has extensive, elegant grounds, including the famous Japanese garden, that are occasionally open to the public. Opportunities to take part in the arts or sport are numerous. For singers, there are operatic and choral societies of a very high standard. For lovers of orchestral music, the Malting Sinfonia gives regular concerts. And Ware Brass, established a century ago, regularly performs in the Priory grounds. Woodson Park, in the north of the town, has in its 25 acres a large sports hall, an 8-lane running track, all-weather pitches, a children's playground, as well as areas for informal recreation and jogging. These high-grade facilities provide for all ages, starting with the 2-year-old action tots. And for a wide variety of sports. Woodson Park is also the home of Ware Town Football Club, with its modern ground that must be the envy of most non-league clubs. Ware also boasts facilities for cricket, golf, rugby, swimming, and much more. Ware Bowls Club is justifiably proud of its fine 6-rink green. For young people, there are several units of the various uniformed organisations. And Ware Youth Football, with boys and girls teams for all ages. The local Age Concern Hall provides a focus for activities run by and for the town's older citizens. The Priory, originally a medieval monastery, has in its grounds one of the few lidos in the country. Its heated outdoor pool is open throughout the summer. There's a play area for young children and for homeless. The Priory is licensed for civil weddings. For the ceremony, you can choose the main hall with its cloister windows and Victorian wall painting, the Town Council chamber, or the Haddersley room with its massive oak timbers, crown post, and 600-year-old refectory table on which to sign the register. For 3 centuries, Ware was a great malting town, and some of those buildings still dominate the skyline. In 1724, Daniel Defoe, the author of Robinson Crusoe, mentions Ware, from whence that vast quantity of malt called Hertfordshire malt is made, which is esteemed the best in England. And by the 1820s, there were 22 maltsters in the town. Perhaps this explains why it has always been so well endowed with pubs. Although some maltings have now disappeared, many have found a new life as workshops, homes, a club, and the arts centre. When, in 1956, the town was granted armorial bearings, it's not surprising that the maltings should feature in the shape of gold sheaves of barley. The post horns refer to the town's coaching inns. The blue field alludes to the river, while the rudders remind us of the barge trade with London. The town's name has provided comedians with material for puns all through the years. It stems from the Anglo-Saxon Wares, their word for the natural weirs at the point where the loch now stands. The College of Heralds decided to add yet another pun when they suggested cave as the town's motto, Latin for beware. Ware has 7 primary schools. Secondary provision is shared with neighbouring Hertford, with 5 comprehensive schools to choose from that offer single-sex or co-educational opportunities. Hertford Regional College's Ware campus on the south side of the town offers a wide range of vocational courses, as well as evening and weekend classes, catering for all ages, all interests, and all abilities. One of Ware's greatest treasures is Scott's Grotto, restored in recent years by the Ware Society. It was built by the wealthy Quaker poet John Scott in his garden that spread over much of what is now the town's south side. Cut 70 feet into the chalk, with 6 chambers connected by narrow passages, the walls of the principal rooms are covered in shells and fossils. This is a very special, magical place. Remember to take your torch. Ware has a wide variety of shops. With several places to pop in for a bite to eat. In how many other high streets can you make your purchases out of a Jacobean fireplace, surrounded by Tudor beams, or under a moulded 17th century ceiling? Amwell End has Beckett's Walk, with its many small shops and businesses housed in the Old Town Cinema. Upstairs, there's the Beckett's Nightclub, for those who might find 11 p.m. a little early to be getting home to bed. One of Ware's most beautiful and quiet corners is found through the old wagon way in East Street. Place House, built in the late 1200s, was the town's manor house, with its fine timber frame open to view and its screen carved for Mary Tudor, bearing the symbols of her parents, the rose of Henry VIII and the pomegranate of Catherine of Aragon. Place House is now one of Ware's several meeting places, open for coffee most market days, and for the WI market on Fridays. It's frequently let for private parties. For 76 years, from 1685, it was used by the Christ's Hospital charity as a school. They built the adjacent terrace of cottages in Bluecoat Yard to house the children. The old wooden statue of one of the pupils in his Bluecoat uniform used to stand above the entry to the school. Each year, the switching on of the town's Christmas lights heralds Ware's Dickensian night, mounted by the Chamber of Trade. The shops open late, the stalls are set, The citizens wrap up warmly, many in period costume, and modern transport is denied entry. Lanterns are lit. The night ends with carols. The countryside in and around the town provides a wide network of footpaths for the rambler and routes for the cyclist. But it's the river that attracts most of those out for a stroll. With 4 fairly evenly spaced bridges, you can select a circular walk along the towpath that matches your energy. The town's famous gazebos here draw the eye. Nowadays there are 9 of them, the earliest dating from about 1700. And so, on your stroll by the river, you can dwell on its importance to our town's past and the joy it still provides. You can think of Ware's business, its industry, its opportunities for sporting and artistic recreation, of its religious communities, both past and present, its provision for learning, for the young and for the elderly. You could reflect on this delightful and vibrant place that never stands still. Schemes for future enhancement keep coming forward. A place to work, a place to visit, a place to enjoy, a place to live, as I do. Where?